Last year, I donated a kidney to save my son's life. Yesterday, he told me I am not his biological father and that he's always known. I am still processing how someone could accept an organ from a man they've been lying to for 19 years. When my wife Sarah got pregnant at 24, we were struggling financially but overjoyed. I worked double shifts at the factory while finishing my associate's degree at night. By the time Ethan was born, I had enough saved for a small apartment where he could have his own room. I still remember painting clouds on his ceiling at 2 a.m. after a 12-hour shift, just to see his face light up. Sarah and I divorced when Ethan was 7 after I discovered her affair with her boss. The split was messy, but I fought for joint custody and never missed a weekend, holiday, or school event. I remained in the same school district despite the higher rent, so Ethan wouldn't have to change schools or lose friends. When Sarah remarried Greg 3 years later, I noticed subtle changes. Ethan started comparing our modest weekend activities to Greg's lavish trips and gifts. Still, we remained close: fishing trips, science projects, teaching him to drive in empty parking lots. When he made varsity baseball as a freshman, I rearranged my entire work schedule to never miss a game. Everything changed last year when Ethan, then 18, was diagnosed with kidney failure from a rare genetic condition. Without hesitation, I got tested and was a match. The surgery was scheduled immediately. Recovery was brutal, worse than doctors prepared me for. 6 weeks of excruciating pain, unable to work, depleting my savings. But seeing Ethan recover made it worthwhile. I thought the experience had brought us closer. Yesterday, Ethan came to my apartment unexpectedly. He seemed nervous, sitting stiffly on the edge of the couch I'd bought, specifically because he liked gaming on it during his weekends with me. "Dad, I need to tell you something," he said, staring at the floor. "Greg is my biological father." The room started spinning. I thought he was confused about the medical terminology from his treatment. "No, that's not possible," I said. "I am your biological father. That's why my kidney was such a good match. Mom and Greg were together before you and Mom got married," he continued. "She found out she was pregnant but didn't know whose it was. When the paternity test showed I wasn't yours, they decided not to tell you. I felt physically ill." "How long have you known?" "Since I was 12. Mom and Greg told me after you forgot to pick me up for that camping trip." I remembered that weekend vividly. My car had broken down and I'd arrived 3 hours late, devastated at disappointing him. They'd used my one failure to reveal this secret and turn him against me. "You knew during the transplant?" I whispered. He nodded. "Mom said it would be suspicious if I suddenly refused your kidney, and the doctors said you were the best match anyway." I asked him to leave for the first time in 19 years. I couldn't bear to look at the child. All those years of sacrifice, moving to expensive neighborhoods, working overtime to match Greg's gifts, driving 2 hours each way for weekend visits felt like a cruel joke. This morning, Sarah called screaming that I've traumatized Ethan by rejecting him. Greg got on the line saying I should be grateful I got to play dad to his son. My parents and sister think I should forgive Ethan. He was just a child manipulated by Sarah and Greg, but something broke in me yesterday, not because Ethan isn't biologically mine. I would have loved him the same had I known from the beginning. What I can't process is that he watched me endure major surgery, knowing I believed I was saving my son's life, while deliberately concealing that they had been lying to me for nearly 2 decades. How do you rebuild trust with someone who could accept your literal flesh and blood while denying you the basic truth? And how do I live with one kidney knowing it's now in the body of someone who could be this calculatingly cruel?